We often get too busy chasing the world that we forget the ones who gave us the world in the first place. For Mark, life was a relentless climb up the corporate ladder. Each day was a blur of deadlines and meetings, a routine he embraced, leaving little room for anything or anyone else. His phone would buzz, a familiar name flashing on the screen, Mom. Dozens of missed calls, each a small, unanswered plea for connection. He'd sigh, silence the call, and slip the phone back into his pocket, promising himself he'd call back later. But later never seemed to come. Sometimes pride speaks louder than love, until love becomes silent. Alone in his small apartment at night, the city lights a distant, cold glow. Mark would scroll endlessly through social media. He'd see a photo of his mom, a warm smile on her face. And a memory would flicker to life. His mother in the kitchen, her laughter filling the room as she called him to dinner. The memory was sweet, but tinged with a guilt he refused to acknowledge. Just then, his phone would ring again, Mom calling. He'd stare at it, a battle raging within him. With a heavy heart, he'd press decline, choosing the silence over the conversation he knew he should have. We always think there's more time, until there isn't. The next morning at work, everything felt normal, until it wasn't. A coworker approached his desk, their expression somber. "Mark," he said quietly, "your sister called. Your mom's in the hospital." The words hung in the air, heavy and unreal. Mark's phone slipped from his numb fingers, clattering onto the floor. In his mind, a vibrant image of his mother's smile flickered and then dissolved, replaced by the sterile, rhythmic beep of a hospital monitor. The world he had been so busy chasing suddenly stopped spinning. Every memory suddenly felt louder than the silence I gave her. The taxi ride to the hospital was a frantic blur of streaking city lights. Each passing lamppost illuminated the tears forming in his eyes. Memories flooded his mind, sharp and vivid. His mom patiently fixing his tie before his first job interview. His mom gently wiping his tears after a childhood fall. Each act of love he had taken for granted now echoed in the hollow space he had created. The weight of every unanswered call, every broken promise, pressed down on him, suffocating him with regret. And in that moment, I realized, forgiveness doesn't wait. Love shouldn't either. He pushed open the hospital room door. There she was, looking smaller and more fragile than he'd ever seen her, sleeping peacefully. He walked to her bedside, his legs feeling like lead, and gently took her hand. It was still warm. "I'm sorry, Mom," he whispered, the words catching in his throat. A single tear escaped and fell onto her hand, a silent apology for a lifetime of missed moments. He watched the steady line on the heartbeat monitor, a fragile thread connecting him to her, as it began to slow. "I can't change the past, but I can love better today." Months later, Mark stood before his mother's grave, a bouquet of her favorite flowers in his hand. The grief was still there, but it was softer now, mingled with a newfound resolve. His phone vibrated with a text from his sister. "Dinner tonight?" He didn't hesitate. "I'll be there," he typed back, a small, genuine smile touching his lips as he looked up at the sky. He had learned the hardest lesson of all, that while you can't undo the past, you can honor it by cherishing the present and the people still in it. Forgiveness is not about forgetting. It's about remembering with peace. As the sun began to set, painting the sky in hues of orange and purple, Mark walked home. He pulled out his phone and, without a second thought, dialed his sister's number just to hear her voice. Don't wait too long. Don't let pride win. Call them while you still can. Love them now, today, in this moment. Because tomorrow is never promised. Thank you for watching. If this story touched you, please consider liking and subscribing for more content that matters.